Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joselle Jade if you're new here, and if you're not, welcome back. I'm so happy to finally be making this video for you all. Actually, this is my second time trying to record this video. I recorded it before, but it was too dark, it was late. I tried to do it at like 1 a.m. and I just honestly looked so sleepy. But let's jump right into it. If I were becoming an instructional designer, I wanted to get into the learning development field. I'm a transitioning teacher. Essentially, if this was me 3-4 years ago, here are the steps that I would take. Some of these I've done, some of them I've reflected on things I would do differently, but here are the steps that I would take to jump into a new industry. Let's get into it. Step one, get to know the industry. Honestly, that's the best thing you can do. So be knowledgeable. What is an instructional designer? What is the learning and development field? What fits under that umbrella? So what other job titles might you be interested in? Get to know the industry. This could also include following people in the industry, so top voices. So people like Nyla Spooner, Delvin Peck, Kara North, Tim Slade. These people have made themselves known across LinkedIn and other social platforms. And these are people that I followed, I leaned into really when I was learning more about the industry. Kara North, I don't know if she still does this, but when I was looking for a job, she would post, I believe every Monday, or it could have been twice a week, new jobs in the industry. This is important because even if you're not at the stage where you're able to apply for jobs, click on those job descriptions. Get to know, what are they looking for? Do I have the skills that will help me get into this industry? Just get to know the buzz around the industry. Also, you can join different Facebook groups. I'm part of 2 Facebook groups. One of them is Black in Learning and Development. I love that group to see people who look like me talk about transitioning into this field. Also, people who are more well known in their careers and more years in their careers help people who are newer in their careers land a job, give feedback, all those things. So look for different groups that you can be a part of. Again, it helps you learn the industry and just to learn the buzz about what's going on, to give you some information and some insight about the industry. Something else that you can do is to reach out to different people. So if you come across someone like me or someone else who's talking about instructional design, learning development, any of those careers that you're interested in, don't hesitate to send me an Instagram message, leave me a comment. Just remember that most of these people, this creating content is something that they do on the side. They have regular jobs just like me and you. So just be respectful of people's time and know that sometimes they don't have the bandwidth to maybe respond immediately, but just be kind. All right, step 2. What are your transferable skills? No matter the industry that you're coming from, I think it's really important to be honest with yourself. So you've gotten to know the industry and you're trying to see, what skills can I pull from in my current career that I can list as a transferable skill into this new industry. As for me, I was a past teacher, so there were a little bit more things that I could have leaned on. For example, in my last year of teaching, this was post-pandemic, or actually it's kind of during the pandemic, but we did a lot of virtual learning. So working with an LMS system, it was Google Classroom. I also had to build a lot of PowerPoints for my students and a lot of just online learning experiences. So I was able to pull those skills from teaching and now list them on my resume as a transferable skill. And this helps because it kind of lists some buzzwords on your resume. So as you're applying for jobs, you are looked at a little more seriously. I would say that it wasn't until that I took off being a teacher on my resume that I started to get more buzz. When I started school, I highlighted my education first because that was what I had to lean on at the time. And then I listed my experience below. I put, oh my gosh, what, I think it says other experience, and I put second grade teacher in there. So it was not like the bulk or the meat and potatoes of my resume, because I didn't want to not be taken seriously, honestly. I wanted to show that this is a field that I can truly work in. I also knew about adult learning, and it was not just about me working with elementary students. Right, so you're trying to pull from your transferable skills, write it down. So if you built PowerPoints, write that down. If you facilitated teaching, I mean, you're a teacher, so you stand up, you teach the kids all day, you are facilitating learning, write that down. If you were a leader in your school, so maybe you did trainings with other teachers, you've been there for a little while, write those things down. I literally mean anything that you can pull out, like, okay, I can transfer this into adult learning. Pull it out and write it down. You'll need it later for the next step. Step 3, build a mini portfolio. One of the main platforms that I've used is Canva. And oh my goodness, Canva has been such a lifesaver to me. It has taught me so much, even as, I'll give you this as another tip in a second, but get Canva. It's a free platform. I'll put a link in my description box below, but it's a free platform. You can also pay. I pay for it yearly. That's how much I use Canva, and I swear by it, honestly. I use it for YouTube. I use it in my career. You can learn so much from Canva. So in terms of instructional design, you can start playing around with different template presentations. You can do flyers, you can do infographics. There's so much that you can start to play with and learn and build from in Canva. I will say, just don't use a template and change what it says and then submit it as your own. Really dive into this, and you can lean on a template to use as a starting point, but learn about color theory. So knowing that, like, learning complementary colors and alignment of things like that on your posters, on your infographics, things like that. One of the very first projects I worked on in my internship was giving and receiving feedback. I went into Canva. Mind you, I didn't know what to do, but I was in school at the time, but I went into Canva, looked up infographics. I found a format that I liked. I kind of just looked at, okay, how can I make this my own? And it was a small portion of a series of things that I was working on in my internship, but the infographic was kind of like a starting point, like for bite-sized information. You'll learn this with adult learning. People learn in different ways. Some people love long-form content. Some people love bite-sized content. Some people love, okay, let me just get this poster, flyer, infographic, whatever it is, and I'm gonna stick it up on the wall next to me so they can glimpse at it at either time. Creating different learning experiences for different people is very important in this industry. But so I created my infographic, giving and receiving feedback. It was great. So you can do things like come up with different how-tos and just play around with, how can I make this information look pleasant to the eye? Is it digestible to a learner? And that's a lot that goes into instructional design. Think of the way you learn as an adult. Are you bored when it comes to just black and white? Do you seek more colors to digest information? Honestly, put yourself in the learner's shoes. That's really important when it comes to instructional design and adult learning. Even make videos on Canva, but come up with different little projects that you can make for yourself and start creating a mini portfolio for yourself. Okay, let's jump into step 4. So you have gotten to know the industry, you have plucked out your transferable skills, you've created that Canva account and started to create a mini portfolio. Now let's revamp your portfolio. And so what does that mean? You want to tailor your resume to the job that you're seeking. So if you are seeking an instructional designer position, you need to use instructional design language. So facilitated a class with 30 learners versus I taught a second grade classroom. Having to put a spin on it. Facilitated learning with 10 teachers during training. Don't lie, but spin it to speak to the things that you have done in your career. So when it comes up in an interview, you can speak to it. Also, that mini portfolio that you have created, Canva allows you to use links. So you can take that link, put it at the very top of your resume, and this will help you in this industry. During my time when I was searching for employment, I didn't have a portfolio at the time. And I think now like the market has gotten way more competitive, and I will say that I think it's necessary. I did not have a portfolio until after my internship. My internship paid for me to have Articulate 360, and I used that to create a portfolio, and I listed that at the very top of my resume, which when I started to apply for jobs after that, I was able to submit that when they asked for writing samples or anything like that, which that's a thing. Companies may do like a working test or something like that before they hire you. So keep that in mind, which is why it's important to work on that portfolio. All right, so your new resume is good, ready to go. Let's now start applying to roles. I say LinkedIn is maybe the best for seeing what roles are out there. I always suggest going to the company's website and applying directly through the company. However, LinkedIn gives a lot of visibility to show what's out there. And I've mentioned Kara North before. She would post jobs in the industry every Monday, so you could also apply to jobs that way. Also, don't be afraid of contract roles or internships. Starting with an internship got my foot in the door, and I'm so thankful to have had that experience. And I believe I found that internship by Google. It actually wasn't even on LinkedIn. I typed in learning and development internships 2022, I think that was. So Google is another way that you can look, but everything that you've worked on before, now just start applying to those jobs. Also, be open to roles that are more than just instructional design, instructional designer, learning experience designer. Maybe you can be a learning and development specialist, a learning and development coordinator. There's so many other roles that fall under the L&D umbrella that you use many of the same skills for. In my job currently as a program manager, I do a lot of design work. Sometimes it's not every day, but be open to other titles, which is why I say pull out the skills that you have. I'm sure you have a lot of skills that fall under different roles under the L&D umbrella. All right, step 6, balance. Know that there's balance between all of this. You don't want to get burnt out from applying to too many roles. Job searching had started to become too overwhelming for me. And so seeing everyone getting a job while I'm still struggling to get a job, or seeing all these jobs posted while I'm still struggling, was really hard for me. So do what's best for you and your mental health. Get all the information you need, but maybe once you start diving into looking for a role, you might have to meet certain things to get you where you're going. Essentially, just don't let the job search or wanting to transfer from a different career so badly, don't let it consume you or overwhelm you. One day at a time. Know that we've all been at that starting position. I'm rooting for all of you. Just balance. And number 7, so my takeaways. Like I said recently, just know that we all started somewhere. I started in the classroom. It took me a very long time to make that transfer and be honest with myself that I didn't want to be a teacher anymore, and took the steps to transfer into this new career field. As I've mentioned in one of my past videos, it's also important to know the type of learner that you are. I have said before that I knew that I needed some sort of structure because, I just know myself, which is why going back to school and getting my master's degree was very important to me. Because honestly, I needed someone telling me, do this, here's some instruction, do this assignment. I'm gonna grade this assignment, because it gives validation to know that you're doing something right or you're on the right track. Some people, they don't need that. Watching videos such as this one is enough to get them going and get them started, and that's okay. So be honest with yourself and know what you need in order to push yourself to the next step. And lastly, I wanted to say that I'm now accepting consultation clients. If you want to pick my brain for 30 minutes to an hour and ask me anything, I will leave that information in the description box below. I'm really excited to get to know many of you. Like, I've talked to so many people in the comments, in my inbox, and I know many of you still have more information, and I'd love to answer those in more detail. The information will be below. You can schedule a call with me, and I will answer anything you want to know to the best of my ability. As always, just know that I'm sharing my experience with you, and that's all I can do. All right, well, so those were my tips if I were to become an instructional designer today. I was transferring into the L&D field. Those are the steps that I would take. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you would like to see more videos like this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by my channel, and shout out to all the new faces that I've seen. And thanks for leaving the comments. None of them, they don't go unseen, and I try to respond to all of them. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.